Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield at the home of Terry Fator. The Terry Fator Theatre is here at the Mirage in Las Vegas for the 8th year. It's so lovely to talk to you, Terry. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It's good to see you again.
You are delicious. Where have you gone since I was last here?
Oh my gosh, everywhere. We've been all over the, well, of course, we're still in Vegas.
I'm talking physically. You've wasted away.
Oh, I see. I lost 48 pounds. I see what you're saying. I lost 48 pounds, and everybody's like, what's your secret? What's your secret? And I'll tell you, the secret is I don't eat nearly as much food as I used to. I cut down what I used to eat by about a quarter. By about 3/4. I eat about a fourth of what I used to, and the pounds just melted away.
Isn't that funny? That equation of eat less, walk more does work.
It really does, yeah. It absolutely does. And there's really no magic formula. There's no magic pill you can take. It's just a matter of training yourself to eat less, and that's it,
Was there a point where you got so depressed looking at your reflection that you had to put that on the fridge and a little lock so you couldn't go in? How bad did it get?
Oh, I didn't have to put anything on the fridge. I kept seeing myself in interviews when I would do like television. I'd be like, what am I doing to myself? And then, of course, getting ready for the show, my assistant would be helping me get ready, and I'd be screaming, and I'd be like, I can't believe it, my shirt won't fit, I can't get my pants. And I finally just said, you know what, I'm done with this nonsense. I'm done. And so I'll never let it happen again. Never, ever.
Do you know what's amazing, though? Your audience don't care. We almost don't notice in a way because your act is beyond that. You've never sold yourself on image or being popular. You've sold yourself on being good and consistent and hysterical. In a way, that's a blessing, isn't it? It doesn't matter what you look like.
Exactly. And really, it's just sexy being a ventriloquist, right? You don't really...
Where again do you stick your hand?
So we don't need to have a good body, right? Just being a ventriloquist, man, that's so sexy to women. That's why I became a ventriloquist. Because that's where the girls go, right?
Do you know what's great about you? Year in, year out, I come to this town and ventriloquists come and they go, but you're still here and you're still selling out. It's a remarkable success. And I think now it's a guaranteed check for people that come and see you, isn't it? That they know they're going to get a consistent show and they know they get value for money.
Exactly. And that's, a lot of that, though, is just my commitment to my audience. And really, the reason I work so hard is because I want to make sure my audience always has something fresh. You saw the show last year. You're going to see it again this year. And the show is almost totally different than what you saw last year. And you've seen it several times, and every year it's different, right? Because I'm constantly working. I get up in the morning at about 5 or 6 in the morning, depending on how well I was able to sleep. And then I work for 2 to 3 hours immediately. I write routines. I come up with new ideas, and then when I'm done with that, it's usually about 8 or 9 in the morning, and then I sit down and play my video games. But I make sure I get my work done first before I play my video games. That's kind of my way to relax is video games.
And it's a beautiful discipline you've got, and it pays off because let's face it, people come back to this town year in, year out, and they want to see you again, and they don't want to see the same old stuff. And equally, you don't want to get bored because if you look bored, we're going to be bored.
Exactly. And I've never phoned a show in, and a lot of it is just keeping myself on my toes by constantly adding new things, new songs. You'll hear there's the newest Justin Timberlake song is in the show. I try to keep things fresh and exciting for people.
Do you know what I love about your show more than any other that I've seen? There are 3 elements to it. There's you, there's the comedy, and there's the live band. You put those 3 together with that alchemy, and it is beautiful. I think the drive of the live band does make a difference. If it was on track, it just wouldn't be as exciting. And any one of those elements out of sync also would make it more boring. Put them together, and that, I think, is the reason you're still here.
I think so, too. I think that adds a little bit of an excitement. It's kind of what we come to expect in Vegas, too, is we want to see that whole, live band and the music and everything. And really, that's the thing about my show, though, is it gives you everything you want to see in Vegas. You want to see music, you got it. You want to see singers, you got it. Because I do over 100 impressions of singers. So you'll, at any given night, you'll see 40 different impressions of singers, and the live band, the music, the comedy, you'll go away. It's bust-a-gut comedy, and so, yeah, it's a little bit of everything, whatever you want to see here. Except we don't have flying puppets yet, for the Cirque du Soleil stuff, but maybe we'll toss a few puppets puppets around and say, "Oh, look, Cirque du Soleil."
Or fountains. You could do with fountains on the stage. That
yes.
seems very popular here. Last time we sat here a year ago, oh, how we laughed about the notion that Donald Trump was going to be in your show and maybe he'd become president one day. A year on, it's still in the show, but a lot has changed, hasn't it? What reaction does it get today compared to a year ago where the fantasy of Trump being president was ludicrous?
It's, it's funny. It is the most, I think it's single-handedly the most popular thing that I do. It's become so popular. I travel and I do shows on the road as well. And I have gotten so many people, please tell me Donald Trump's going to be in the show tonight. I've actually had them make me another one for the road because I do not, all the puppets that work here at the Mirage, they stay at the Mirage. They don't travel with me just in case, because, this is my bread and butter here. So I've got another Donald Trump puppet coming that it's going to become my road puppet. And it's changed. I mean, he actually won. He's president now. And so, but I always said, win or lose, it doesn't really matter. He's going to be a great character. And it is, and you'll see tonight when you see the show, it is hands down the most popular thing that I do. It's just
and
hilarious.
He's a character, isn't he? I mean, he almost gives too much. I mean, where do you start with it? I guess you look in a mirror and the voice comes first and that unique affectation he's got, because it's extraordinary, isn't it?
Yes, it is. He's an easy person to do. And here's the great thing, though. I'm not a person that wants to offend anybody. I realize, half the country voted for Donald, half the country didn't. So I don't want to do anything that's going to alienate half of my crowd. And at the same time, I don't want to do anything that's going to alienate the president of the United States. So I tried to put together something that did not make fun of him, but had fun with the business of his character. And he has actually seen the routine and thinks it's funny. So I have not irritated him. And the great thing is there's one point in the show, in his routine, where the entire audience cheers at the end of it, and I know what they're doing. Those who hate him are cheering and those who love him are cheering, and that's, to me, that was one of my more brilliant jokes to come up. When you can come up with a joke where you get both sides cheering for their own reasons, I think that's the perfect joke.
Yeah, beautiful. The only flaw in what you're doing, of course, is that he uses his hands a lot, and he has two of them. How do you cope with that? Because that's a big gimmick of his, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think people worry about it. I think they're just enjoying seeing. And the hair gag, when his hair goes up, it's like that makes up for any of the other inconsistencies with his hands.
Again, when those moments go viral, and it did, I forget where you did it. It was about a year ago when you did that, and it went all over the internet. When those moments happen on the internet and your phone lights up, do you have a moment where you go, oh my God, what have I done? Or is that the most exciting moment of your career?
No, they're super exciting. I love it. In fact, that's really why I did it, was because I was hoping that it would, it sweep the internet and people would actually see it and it would give them a nice laugh. I get a lot of people that tell me, I'm having trouble. I just struggle with cancer, or I just lost my wife. And I went on the internet and saw your videos and I play them every single day and they give me a chuckle. And that's really what it's all about. That's what 600 million people have seen my episodes of America's Got Talent. And so if those 600 million people want to click and see something funny that I've done, that I've created, that's going to brighten their day, then that just makes me happy.
And let's not forget, I mean, you mentioned America's Got Talent. I mean, you became an overnight star in 30 years, didn't you? I mean, you'd spent your life creating this act. You were ready to go, and then you embraced it. That's joyous as well, isn't it? Because if you get that opportunity and you're not ready, as many have proved, you just disappear. No,
and that's true, but it also is, a lot of times your personal life can become a lot more chaotic, which, not that I haven't had my share of chaos, and anytime this kind of success happens so quickly, it's going to disrupt things and things are going to go nuts. But I had a good head on my shoulders because I was in my 40s when it happened. I know what's important. I know that, family and love and friendship and caring is much more important than money and fame. And so, when you're able to do that and you're able to put things in perspective, it can really, really help you. So I'm very grateful that I did not get this when I was a kid. I'm glad that it waited until the right time. I feel like it was perfect.
Is Vegas in a good place right now? It seems to be in a transient place when there aren't many lasting like yourself, which is, again, a great compliment.
Yeah, it's, I don't know how to answer that question. Maybe it is, but people are just looking for just the right fit, and that's hard to find. I think both I lucked out and I think the Mirage lucked out. We were a great fit. They were looking for someone that was unique and different, and that would appeal to all different ages and all different varieties of types of people and people from all over the world. And I just happened to fit that bill. So I think they're always constantly looking. Each casino is looking for that fit, and luckily me and the Mirage fit perfectly, like hand in a glove.
You said earlier about the live band and that's what people expect in Vegas. I mean, you are lucky. Not many people get that now, and this scale of show and this size of showroom. Many of them are empty. But it must be a thrill to stand there knowing this is all around you. They've given you a beautiful show, haven't they?
They absolutely have. And I appreciate, the Mirage has just been so incredibly wonderful and generous to work with. And I've got a great relationship with everybody here. And, it's a give and take. They sometimes ask me, they'll say, oh, we've got, something special. Can you go do this? And occasionally I'll call and say, hey, can you guys do this for me? And it's just fantastic. I just love it. And I'm very honored to be here. And my commitment is just, I'm going to make sure my show stays fresh and that I'm always pushing the limits of my abilities and talents.
Can you imagine a day now without a laugh? I mean, you stand there in front of that huge crowd and that roar comes towards you, and especially during the moments like Trump where people are just waiting for it, and it's that relief where we all go, that's hysterical, that's the moment. Can you live without that at this point?
No, definitely not. It's part of my DNA. It's part of who I am. My wife Angie gets it completely. She understands that we'll take 2 weeks off and go on vacation or whatever. Man, I'm telling you, about 9 days in, I'm chomping at the bit. I'm really, okay, come on, man. I got to get my fix, man. Just one more. The first one's free, Gotta have my fix of getting on that stage and hearing those people laugh. It's great.
In terms of your personal life, I mean, you mentioned Angie there, who is so lovely, and you seem happier than you've ever been. Is this a great time in your life? I mean, the show's doing well, you're happy, you've got a lovely lady. I mean, this is the dream, really, isn't it? If you're happy on all fronts.
It's right. It is definitely the best time in my entire life. And a lot of it is that I've tended to surround myself with people that love drama and love to always have some sort of chaos going on. And I'm not sure what it was about me that attracted those types of people, but I have literally weeded those people out. Possibly it was Angie that helped me weed those people out, because I met her 2 years ago, and she might have just been a lot more perceptive than I, and helped me to get rid of all those people that love drama and always want to have an incident. And I don't have those incidents anymore. Now it's like every day is just is such a joy. I mean, I told my employees that I want it to feel like working for me that you're at Disneyland. And I think they all feel that way now. And I think getting rid of all that drama has really helped.
It's exhausting, isn't it, when you wake up in the morning and there's one problem after the next? You don't need that.
Oh my gosh, no. And then you've got all these problems, and then you have to step out on stage and make sure the audience doesn't see that. So it's 10 times harder to do a show when you've got all kinds of things weighing on your mind. And luckily for me, I've trained myself to where it doesn't matter what it is, the audience. If I can have the flu, I can be puking, and I don't know if they say that in the UK, but you got me vomiting, and I mean literally, my audience will say, my audience will never know, and my staff will tell you there are times I'll come out, I'll throw up in a bucket, and I'll go right back out on stage and do the show, and the audience never knows, and that's really just how I am.
I hope that isn't the case tonight. That would be most unedifying during my performance.
No, I'm okay. I'm feeling great tonight. Are you kidding?
Terry, you're such a nice guy. Compliments to the show. I mean, it's a 5-star Vegas spectacular where you're going to enjoy the live band and the comedy and, of course, the puppets, which are just so beautiful. I mean, they're works of art, aren't they? Let's face it.
They really are, and I'm so proud of all of the characters that I've created and all the puppets, and they're made by the top puppet makers on the planet. The same people who make the Muppets make most of my puppets. The Puppet Heap out of Hoboken, New Jersey. And then I've got Steve Axtell, who is roundly known around the world as one of the top puppet makers in the world, who does people like Vicky and Donald Trump. And I've got a guy named Keith Lovick, who does all of my hard puppets, the wooden puppets. And man, I'm telling you, I'm very proud. And they are beautiful and amazingly crafted puppets.
When you're laughing before you even say anything, you've got great gags, and the band are just terrific, and you're not only a nice guy but terrifically talented, and so deserve to be here. Thank you so much. Come and see Terry Fator here at Mirage, 7:30 nightly. Really nice to talk to you again.
Good to see you, Alex, and I look forward to next year when we can video this.